Snacks.
What is going on, everybody? What's happening? Let's throw up the chat here just in case, when people want to start chatting, we can see what they got to say. What's going on, everybody? Lotus and Axe is here, and we are here to discuss sports animes, as you can see in the title. I got a couple of great people with me. Yes, Marcus, we're live. How are you doing that? That is magic. Oh, my God, that's so amazing. As you can see, we have Marcus here with us to give me some grief. Say hi to the people, Marcus.
What's up?
We have the Thigh Warden herself, Gabby, is in the building. Say hello to everybody.
Hello.
And I have to thank you very, very much, Noah, for stepping in. Jokes had a scheduling conflict. He's at StellarCon today with Gage, putting in some work. So thank you for stepping in and filling that void. And I know you're going to have a lot to say on everything that we got to talk about. So say hi to the people, man. Appreciate it. Thank you. So yes, like I said, we're here to discuss sports animes in celebration with the Olympics. It's a very popular genre that I don't think gets enough credit outside of maybe one major anime.
Wham!
Yes, Wham! So my first question I have to you all, and I'm going to start with you, Noah. So this is your first time here doing this with us, is how did you get into the sports anime genre? Like, what was your first one? Because I don't think any of us started out our anime journeys with a sports one. That's not how we got introduced into the series. If I'm incorrect, please let me know. But I want to know, what was your, how did you stumble upon it? What was that first one that pulled you in?
My first one was probably Megalobox, and and definitely Karuko's, because they were the first ones that were dubbed. You know what I mean? Before we really got into anime, all the ones we pretty much watched were the ones that were dubbed. You know what I mean? So those were the first ones that I saw, but I didn't really get into them until, I started really watching anime.
That's interesting, just because Megalobox is a newer one.
Yeah.
So you're pretty new to the genre itself and going back and catching up on them now. Okay, that's what's up. What about you, Marcus?
For me, I would have to say it was the original. What was it called? Ultimate Muscle. It was more so like wrestling entertainment type of aspect, and besides that, it was Ippo. Like those were the two primary ones that got me into sports anime. So,
all right, that makes sense. Knowing you're a big wrestling fan, that makes sense. What about you, Gabby?
The first sports anime I actually watched was back when Toonami existed, Prince of Tennis, like the original Prince of Tennis that used to play same time as like Inuyasha and Dragon Ball Z.
Seen that one too.
So that's where I started, but I kind of fell off after Toonami disappeared, and I rediscovered sports animes like 2 years ago, I think. So
actually, that was mine as well. It was years ago, and it was at a time where I had apparently watched everything popular in the action genre, and there was nothing else for me to watch. And at that time, me and Shells and our brothers were heavy on like Top Spin on the Xbox and those type of tennis games. And I kept seeing it pop up when I was looking for something to watch. I'm like, it's Shonen Jump. That's who makes all the great action ones. And it's 100 some odd episodes. And finally, I just sat down and watched it. And I was hooked off the first episode. Like, okay, now I get it, why it's so popular.
Oh, yeah. It was very good.
Yeah, and it's still one of my favorites to this day. So I got a question I want to throw out there to y'all, just see how y'all feel. I'm searching through TikTok and more anime TikTok, and somebody had it was like a podcast or whatever. They were talking about sports animes, and the guy was saying that sports animes are trash. They don't need them. They need to go away in general as a whole. And his reasoning was because when you sit down to watch anime, you don't want to watch something that you could do in real life, which didn't make any sense to me. You know what I mean? Like, people were kind of going on him, in the comments, were like, no, you're just trolling, whatever. But apparently he was dead serious about it. So I just want to know, how do you all feel about that? Like, is sports animes important? Are they necessary? Are they, do you feel like with his reasoning of not wanting to, it should go away because it's something you can actually do in real life? Where do y'all stand on that?
For me, sports anime is like a palate cleanser. Like after watching copious amounts of anime, there are some anime that you just need to like forget about. So I just I just go back rewatch like Prince of Tennis or Ippo and just cleanse the palate. So I would say it's necessary. Plus, the stuff they do in sports anime, a lot of it is unrealistic. So you're not going to be doing that in real life.
Yeah, that's true. I think first of all, that's nonsense. That's just nonsense. Sports anime give everything that you want from an anime. When you watch anime, generally, and this isn't even without like knowing what someone's preference is, you're generally looking for some sort of feeling that you can't get from most other media that you get from anime, and it usually hits you in that certain sweet spot. And sports anime get that sweet spot all the time. They get that epic sweet spot. They get that tear up sweet spot, that, you know what I mean, hope for the main character and character development sweet spot. So I disagree. Sports animes are epic. Plus, yeah, most of them sports animes definitely are not realistic.
Very true. What about you, Gabby?
Yeah, no, I think it would be weird if you didn't have them, because it's like anime has every genre, just like TV and movies have every genre. Why would you not have a sports anime genre? That doesn't make any sense. His argument of, I don't watch anime because it shouldn't be things that you do. What about cooking animes? What about baking animes? What about, I don't know,
Slice of life?
Yeah, school life anime. It's like, I'm sorry, you can't have real life school anime.
Right.
Yeah.
So his argument's pretty invalid, especially if he's using it just to back up the sports anime, but then he's someone that watches the cooking and the slice of life and all that stuff. Okay, no romance anime, because that happens in real life, so you can't have that.
Yeah.
His argument has no back.
Yeah, I was kind of like just taken aback by it. I just wanted to throw that out to y'all. I feel completely the same way that you all do. I mean, let's be real. When we're watching sports, most of us can't do what they do. Period, point blank. So that defeats what you're talking about right there. Like, I can't go out on the court and do what LeBron James do every night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And plus, you're watching sports not just for winners and losers. You're watching it for the drama, the popping circumstance, the fanfare, the excitement, the storylines and hype built up all around it. That's the same thing that they do in these, and they write them very well for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Very entertaining. It's a very stupid and terrible argument to have, and I just wanted to know where y'all thoughts were on that. All right, so like I said, we're celebrating the Olympics and sports and everything. So I want to start off with this show right here to set things off. I want to start off with Hajime no Ippo.
Yes.
So, this is considered one of the GOATs in anime. I can't remember when it came out. If Marcus, if you could look that up real quick, when did this first air? When did Ippo first air? But I know it's the older one out of all the ones that we'll be talking about today. Out of everybody here, who was their first time seeing this?
Well, first time seeing it full way through. I had seen a lot of it before, but just snippets and like watching maybe some fight scenes. First time sitting down, watching it.
Okay.
It came out in 2003, April 18th and September 5th.
Wow. I thought I'd be what about that? Was an anime fan said I could talk about anytime anime. Yes, that's what we love to do here. Talk about anime. So Gabby, since it was your first time seeing Ippo, what are your initial thoughts?
It's definitely not one that I would have chosen to watch on my own. I've known about it. I've heard about it. The art style is definitely very old. I didn't really hold that against it because I do like the older art style. It just didn't, out of the 5 we watched, it's probably my least favorite because I didn't get into it as much, but I still enjoyed it a lot. It's just not my favorite out of the 5, probably.
Okay, now just curious, what was it about that you didn't like? Like what was turning you off a little bit when you were watching it?
I guess one thing would be the older art style. It didn't catch me as much. I still liked it, but it was my least favorite out of the 5. So it didn't get me hooked. And I guess boxing just isn't really as interesting to me as the other 4 sports. So I think that's another reason.
Okay. What about you, Noah?
I think that I loved it a lot. I think that the anime was close to like a when you go by detail, I think it was close to like a perfect anime. Um, it's hard nowadays to watch like some of the older anime and really bite sometimes because you have so much good stuff to compare it to, and I think that affects me sometimes when I watch older anime. But that anime, like, I think it hits all the spots. And when I usually say, what do I have to say that this anime is good, I usually base it on like 5 criterias. Animation, which was great. The fight scenes were vicious. They weren't a lot of stills until the later season. The later season was iffy on some of the fight scenes. Character development, intro. The intros were fire, and fight scenes, stuff like that. And it hit all the spots. It wasn't my favorite anime ever, but it hit all the spots. And you get attacked to the villains, which I like. Not the villains, but the opponents.
Yeah.
You get attacked to the opponents.
Yeah, they did that very well.
The character development was sick. But towards the end of it, I didn't like how Hajime's girl, didn't they change her voice actor like 3 times, I feel like. What's her name?
She did sound a bit different.
Yeah, and the
place
Japanese
it.
voice actor was different, I'm pretty sure, later. And then I also feel like the later antagonist compared to the earlier one was just a little bit more grotesque than the earlier one. Like the earlier one had such a noble cause. I'm so bad at names, but he was the one who was fighting.
We got wikis up. We got the wikis up, so we can look.
Okay, bet.
A lot of names.
Yeah. But y'all probably seen
characters
it so many times. But the one who was fighting to save up money to feed his sister.
Oh, the Russian. Or
maybe it was
not the Russian.
Not the Russian.
Yeah, it wasn't the White Wolf.
Oh, the Russian was mom. That's right.
Maybe
Yeah, the
was.
Russian was the mom. I think that was in Victory Road. I think is the guy that you're.
It might have been I can't remember. But either way, he was one of the earlier ones, and his cause was you know what I mean, reasonable. But the American dude towards the end of the show, what was his name? Dude with the American
Brian Hawk
flag. Yeah, Hawk.
The racist guy.
He was just like overly villainous. Like you know what I mean? Towards the end, it was like the opponents became so villainous. You know what I'm saying?
I loved that was my favorite fight just right now throughout the whole joint. Takamura versus Brian Hawk, because I needed my guy Takamura to beat his ass.
Oh yeah,
he had me so riled up. Like, I can't believe he's going this hard out here. Like, Taka, come on. All the childish jokes, satisfying. Put it to the side. You got to put this dude 6 feet up.
Hey, you're the number one person in the gym for a reason. You got to show it now.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Time to step up.
I just feel like I liked it. No, I liked the whole way through. I just feel like I just feel like the earlier antagonist had a little more of a kind of like the Naruto feel where they're bad, but you kind of feel them. You know what I mean? They're just bad, or like they have this strong sense of, but you kind of feel them. You know what I mean? Towards the end, you're just like, no, this dude, he was just like a sex freak racist. Yeah, like it was a little off, but I enjoyed it the whole way through. You know what I mean?
What about you, Marcus? Where you stand?
For me, since I originally saw Ippo like when it first aired, like it has a certain spot in my anime heart, but like comparing it like the newer stuff, it's like, all right, the animation style isn't going to be the same, so it's kind of like I have to take off the glasses and be like, okay, does it still hold up to the current anime standard? And in my opinion, it does. Like the score is amazing. Like if when Ippo gets into that moment where he's like, all right, I gotta dig deep, I gotta power through, and his little music hits. If you don't start trying to do the Dipsy roll when that hits, then I don't know what to say to you. But it for me, it's all about the score and the plot. And Ippo is one of those anime where the plot is very smooth, like it's very linear, but it's like it goes up. Like every episode, like you see a person start off from literally the ground, like ground zero, like beneath ground zero, and then you see his trajectory just slowly as each episode airs progress. It's literally like when you first start going to the gym. I can't even compare it. It's literally just like how you first start going to the gym. So
I feel
that's my viewpoint.
Like for
I feel
me,
like
going
I'd
back,
have a different feeling too if I watched it when I was younger.
Yeah.
Like for me, going back and watching this, getting ready for this, it was like doing one of my anime vote things, going back and watching something older. You know what I mean? So and just seeing just how it holds up to a lot of newer stuff that we'll be getting into later on. But I think it still holds up extremely well from its animation, from the style of animation that it uses, from its well choreographed boxing matches, which were amazing. Even its childish humor, which I still was finding myself dying laughing, sitting on the couch watching it. Like, this is so juvenile, but it was done cleverly, in my opinion. I think it deserves to be one of the GOAT series in anime. I think it still holds up. It does need to continue. I will say
yes.
that.
Oh, it is. You know, it's got 1,300 chapters, and the writer said it's only halfway done in 2019 on its 30th.
Gosh.
Yeah, it's got 300 more chapters than One Piece. Y'all think One Piece is long?
But
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
No, go ahead. What were you about to say, Marcus? Go ahead.
Well, my biggest thing is I don't foresee it being animated again.
Oh no, not all that. Yeah,
I think the actual viewer sales of like with the OVAs and everything didn't do well in Japan, so they just like nick that in the butt. Unless like Netflix will pick it up. If Netflix picked it up, then it's a wrap.
Yeah, it was a surge. Well, that leads into one. That leads into one of the questions I was going to ask. Do y'all think we'll get another season of it? And if so, what's something you would like to see happen in the next season of it? Like one of the things I personally would like to see if it comes back, I do want to see Ippo and Takamura get to that world stage level and be able to compete and represent for Japan. I do really want to see that. I do want to see
so much.
Yeah, I want to see Ippo and his girl become an actual thing because y'all are driving me crazy with y'all little relationship. Like just talk to each other.
Yeah,
and
I really want to see got all the girls. Got all the girls.
I was gonna say towards the end, he had like 3 of them fighting for him,
and one of them was his physician. I was like,
that was funny. I was like, wait, ma'am. Huh?
See, back to the humor once again. Yeah. But one of the things I really do want to see before it's all over, hopefully if it comes back, I want to see his mother come to one of his fights and just see all that he's accomplished and how much people love him. I understand why she doesn't come to his fight. She don't want to see her baby get beat up in the ring, but just how far he's come. Doesn't he have like 2 title belts now? I think where they left it off at. Yeah. So like just to come sit down, look at how the people are loving your son, responding to your son, all the hard work he's put in. Like I would like to see her come to his fights at least once.
Yeah.
But what about y'all? What about you, Gabby?
I'd be interested to see what they would do for the next season because I don't know anything that's happening in the manga. I haven't read it. But like you said, I would like to see the 2 fight it out in the big title matches because they mentioned it so much, because it was part of their dream and their goals. That would be great to see. And I'd like to see what it would be like in the newer animation styles because I feel like it would do so great with what they can do now. Like it's still good older, but maybe I'm so interested in seeing how it would be now because I feel like it would be even better because the story is fantastic still.
Yeah. That with a bigger budget could be a problem. Yeah, in the animation.
Answer your question. Yes, it is 2 different voice actors for Kumi Mashiba.
I thought so.
Okay.
I thought so.
Okay. Yeah, so you're right. What about you, Rocky?
I think they could do another season with how big anime is getting. I think that anything's possible for the old stuff. Like they're bringing back Bleach, which was canceled in 2012. So with arguably one of the worst endings out of the great anime. So they're bringing back stuff like that. You know what I mean? They keep Baki going. I just hope that they pick it up, that they don't, botch
Shaman King came back. Fruit Baskets came back, actually got completed and is getting a spinoff now. So
Baskets is godly, bro. Another talk.
I'll
that anime.
I can go on. That was my first.
The best slice of life anime, period.
Every other year, Sailor Moon gets redone. So
true.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Where you stand on that, Marcus? How do you feel about it coming back for another season? What would you like to see?
I would be thoroughly impressed if it came back, but my hopes for it coming back is very, very low.
Yeah,
Only
same.
because I know how this game works. It's like,
Yep.
it needs another season. There's countless animes that deserve another season, never get it, even with all the
Never.
volume that it has. So if it did come back, great. I'm all in. I don't even care. I'll be like jokes is like with Beast Wars, like I'm in. Like I don't care.
Right.
Like I'm in there. But
Yeah.
if it happens,
Yes, I'm not holding my breath. I would love to see it continue, but yes, knowing how anime works, would not be surprised if we never see it. Another
Again.
season.
Yeah.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised.
Statistically, if the manga makes money, then realistically it should get some more attention, whether that be a movie, another episode, a OVA, whatever. If the manga is making money, they should eventually animate some stuff. That's just how
of course,
manga
Chris will
works.
comment with facts. I'm done.
Yeah, but I do agree with you, Marcus. I think if they throw it on Netflix or a streaming service or something like that and give it some advertising, put it on like the homepage or something like that, I think it can have another surge and get its next season. I really think it could.
I think at one point Netflix did air the first season of Ippo at one point in time, and then they took it off. And I would and now you can only really watch everything on Crunchyroll,
Right.
and High Dive, I think.
All right. So before we get off of Ippo, anybody have any favorite characters or standout moments from the show that they want to speak on?
All the fights are
Yeah.
good.
It's so hard.
Actually, the one that sticks out most is when he had to do the version 2 of the Dempsey roll and literally shook dude out of his boots, and I was just like, that's why he was that dude.
Yeah, that was a tough moment. Watch him tear his ligaments up as he just beat the living snot out of Cuz.
Yeah.
But I think my two big things to me that stood out that live up here is the first fight between Ippo and Sendo. Because Sendo was my guy. Like when you have your whole county or whatever come to shut down the county and come to your fight just to watch you fight, you are that dude.
And you're the one financing the fight.
Yeah. And only you lost the fight, but you didn't, you just passed out. Like you didn't stop looking at him or nothing. Like that was such an intense moment. But that fight and the one we were talking about, Noah, against Brian Hawk, that ending, that whole fight, I'm trying to beat you with my trainer's style of boxing. And as soon as I put you down with this style of boxing, I get to unlock the cage and just go my style on you. That whole storyline, that whole fight, I loved it the way it ended. Lives up here, like I said, just love it. I can watch that all day. So let's move on to what is next on
my favorite
list.
was the second Miata fight, by the way. My favorite fight.
Oh yeah,
the one when he won. Yeah, because I was mad in the first time when he didn't win. I was like, please don't tell me it's an anime where he got to lose for half of it and then he started winning. And he won the second time. I was like, yes. Miata's kind of like the Sasuke of the show.
Definitely.
No. I would say he's the Sasuke of the show because he has more personality and depth.
For the first bit, yeah. For the first 30, 40 episodes, he's like Sasuke. Then he comes out and breaks out his show.
Well, for those of you that don't know, Miata is a counterpunch fighter. So his biggest thing is that he has no real arm strength to actually knock someone out. So that's his character. So just keep that in mind. But you should definitely watch Ippo. You should.
No, I would recommend it to people to go watch Ippo with Gabby and Rocky. Y'all feel the same? You would recommend it?
Oh yeah, it's definitely one I would recommend still.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to the next show that we are going to talk about, which is
Don't Be Free.
Kuroko's Basketball.
Yes.
It's a free. Don't do it. Skip it. We're done.
One of Rocky's all-time favorites. So let me start off by asking who
I love this anime.
Hey, Rocky, put on a do-rag real quick.
Who saw this for the first time, or we were getting ready for this? Anybody?
I'd watched the first season before, but I hadn't watched the second or third. Kind of.
Okay. All right. So, Rocky, since this is one of your favorite shows, overall, how do you feel about it?
This is another one like Hajime. I'd probably rate it much higher if, see, when this one came out, when did this release? When did Karuko's release? I want to say like 2009-ish.
I was thinking
For the
2007.
anime, I think
Probably
it
right.
was 2000.
2000.
This says 2017, but there's no way. It came out way before that. Kuroko
I'm
no
looking on a
Basket.
wiki and it says
2008,
2012.
2008 to 2014.
Yeah, the 2000. I'm pretty sure about 2008 to 2014. That one was
Yeah.
around when it was dubbed. It was really before like we really had. I'm pretty sure before we had like cable or anything, if I remember correctly. But I liked it. I just give it nowadays. Nowadays, I'm such a stickler for detail, and watching all the other ones that were so good and so well detailed, I give it a 6.5 out of 10. I enjoyed it, but I told them earlier before the show started, I call it the Dragon Ball Z of the sports anime. It's just, you know what I mean? You sit back and enjoy the show, because if you try and make out the detail, you're just gonna get mad. You're just gonna get mad every time. You're gonna get mad. It's gonna be some
Perfect way to
crazy
describe it,
plot.
honestly.
So go in and enjoy it for what it is.
Yep, pretty much. I liked it.
Just have fun.
The voice actors in Japanese and in dub, both really good. I definitely recommend it. But as far as like, would I go back and watch it again? I don't think so, honestly.
Hey, Sid,
Mhm.
I have one thing to say about Kuroko no Basket. The entire anime is about family. And you can't say that it's not.
That being said, though, I did really, really enjoy it. I'm not saying that. It's just some things you watch once, you enjoy them, and then, you know what I mean? You enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah.
And that's how
Okay.
I feel about it.
All right. So besides the family reference, Marcus, how did you feel about it?
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I first got put on to Kuroko no Basket from RDC World. Shout out to them with their skits. So I saw their skit and I was like, you know what? Let me go back and actually rewatch it and watch it all the way through, because I just watched like bits and pieces from the highlights.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, if I turn my brain off, this is really enjoyable.
Right? Right?
Like I'm just like, okay, like this is how actual basketball works, but it's kind of how basketball works in like a video game aspect. So if I treat it like a video game,
Right.
I'll enjoy it. So that's what I did, and that's here we are.
That's a great
Look
way
at
to
us.
explain it. That's exactly how I felt.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. For like we were just talking about Ippo. One of the things I did like about Ippo was the balance of in the ring versus outside the ring. I thought it was greatly like balanced throughout the show. One thing on the opposite end I liked about Kuroko's basketball, how it's just game after game. 90% of it is on the court. It's not really much to do outside of the court, but I thought the basketball games were fire. Like when I first watched this, I binged 75 episodes straight. Like I said, not like the whole weekend. I did not cut it off, but to take naps. Like I was.
When did you first see it, though? How old were you when you first saw it, or did you see it?
Oh no,
when it
this
first came
was
out?
maybe 5 years ago. I probably saw it for the
Okay.
first time. Yeah.
Okay.
And sat down and, like I said, just you know what? Let me go ahead and watch this weekend. It's supposed to be pretty good. And then next,
Right.
thing you know, I'm hooked. But I'm not looking at it for like once you get the hang of like, okay, I'm not here for realism. Like this dude is
Right.
smacking the ball everywhere.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
I'm not.
I should have watched
Every
it first.
time.
Yeah,
I
but
should have watched it first. That's how I messed up. I should have watched it first.
yeah. So like once I get the hang of it, like okay, this is not something I got to take extra. I ain't got to be like, oh no, that's wrong. You're traveling and this that. No, just sit down, just have fun and watch the show.
No one
And-
travels in this show. No one travels at all. It doesn't
Oh,
exist.
no, they just pull off some amazing basketball
Yeah.
feats.
But there's also very little fouls in the show.
Yeah.
It depends on what team
No.
they're playing.
Right.
Depends on
You
what team they're
see
playing.
already.
It does.
Cat.
No, there were certain teams there that were purposely fouling and trying to hide it behind the ref and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There is the main characters of the other squad, the broken players get fouled, but everyone else, oh nah, we don't need a foul.
Right.
Like,
They don't exist. What are you talking about? Their hair is normal colors. They don't.
Right,
You can't see
right.
them.
Exactly. Oh yeah.
The
There's no
Generation
blue.
of Miracles has 3 people double guarding him, falling backwards, and Dwight Howard dunks
if
from
you're
the
not a part of the
3-point line.
original family, then you don't matter.
Right.
You don't exist. You're an extra.
Once I saw the 3-point shooter check the ball and then just shoot from checking the ball, I was like,
Here's the thing. Look, by the time we
This
were
is
there,
fine.
I was already in the mindset of this is Shonen Jump. I'm not gonna. Like when I saw it, I was like, "Oh, my man can shoot from full court." I'm happy.
Like,
One time though,
the most fluke thing though. The most fluke thing is taking a 3-pointer from the actual and getting past in and shooting it and making it.
No.
It's like 100% of the time, and I'm just like, bruh.
yeah.
no. Hey, look,
What is
yes,
this?
it is. But,
But his hair is different color.
to me, the
What's
most
the
flukish
logic?
thing is a Tiger, whatever, pulling off his meteor dunk where he jumps above the ring.
Oh yeah. Yup.
And throws it down into the thing. I'm like, okay,
That
flag
was
on the
funny.
play on that one. I'm having fun,
They
but no, I'm
stole
calling
that
flag
from
on the
Prince
play.
of Tennis. That is Momo's dunk smash.
Mhm.
Like, they stole that. That is a Prince of Tennis move. Stop it.
But I say all that to say I enjoyed what I was watching for what it was. I had a great time watching.
Yeah, exactly.
What about you,
Exactly.
Gabby? What about you, Gabby?
I enjoyed it very much. I definitely got into it. I think the characters were very, very out there. And I enjoy that when there's a lot of different personalities in there, from the
Mhm.
quiet guy who has no presence at all and constantly sneaking up on people, and just the whole thing is I got sucked into it pretty fast. So I did binge the first season and half of the second season in one sitting when I was rewatching it, because I'm just like, no, I want to see what happens next. Like, I got into the games. Also, as someone who doesn't really know much about basketball at all, because I don't know much about sports that I didn't play, I was like, okay, I can see things, but I definitely know that's not real. Like, I know enough to know that's not real, and you can't do that.
I think that's one thing that needs to be said about sports animes that I like, that they actually take the time to teach you about the sport. You know what I mean? That a lot of them do to help you understand kind of what's going on. But since we've already been kind of diving into it, y'all have like favorite characters or moments like from this show that like stood out to you?
I have a point to follow up on what you just said too, but I'm gonna say it for Hayaku because that's really good and like story development that backpacks off of the point of the guy who said, "Do we need sports anime?" The fact that they get entire crowds. Or you think this many people are into volleyball, but Hayaku is like a top 6 anime in the world. No, yes, sports anime are needed. Anyways, we'll continue. My bad.
Hey, no, cool. Go on that rant if you need to, sir.
You know what I'm saying? The
That's what
sports
we're here
anime
for.
are needed. The fact that you can get people into something that, like, I liked volleyball, but I didn't like volleyball like that. I just played it, you know what I mean?
But now I like volleyball.
Now I like.
Yeah.
Now I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, we might have to get the squad back together.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm the ace.
No one else. It's me.
Right.
All right, so with Kuroko's basketball, any standout moments for you like throughout the show? I know we're laughing and joking about the OP-ness of it, but still in fun, like what were some of the moments like that just, you know, that just sticks, that lives up here for you?
Voice actors were fire all the way.
Oh
through.
yeah, they were
In
all
Japanese,
very good.
I watched it in Japanese. All
That's what I
fire.
watched it in.
Mhm.
No, they did a great job with this.
Especially
I
the
can agree
6
with that.
man. His little soft ass voice is very
Kuroku.
good.
I
Yeah,
love
he's
him.
very good voice
The
acting.
ghost.
You know it's good
Really?
voice acting when it stands out, because generally it's just like it's a good character, but then when you hear it and you're like, you know what I mean? I appreciate that about animes
Mhm.
all the time.
Yeah,
I
he's
think
probably
he
my
was
favorite character, honestly.
So,
And-
Kuroku?
Yeah, Kuroko's my favorite character, probably. And his little dog. Oh my god, I think
Yes.
that was adorable.
Yeah.
Dog is
Yeah.
MVP.
What does a dog look like? You?
Kuroko too. Kuroko
It's
too.
the dog with the jersey that does it. Like the jersey
Yeah.
sells it.
what was the dog's name? Number 1 or number 0 or
Number 2?
number
I thought it
2?
was number
Because he's
two.
the second one.
Okay.
Yeah. Because they literally said, "Who is this? Who does this dog remind you of?" And then they look at Kuroko. And it was
Oh.
like,
Yeah.
It's like, wait a second. But I guess any scene where people are, honestly, it gives me a similar moment to Haikyuu, where you're seeing his skill for the first time in a game, and people are like, I didn't even know he was there, and what do you mean? And he's just going like this, and this, and this. And I'm like, ha, they're going to get screwed.
Oh yes.
So I
no
enjoyed
one
those
passes.
moments very much.
Let's see. I did love them having a female coach that
Yeah.
was also a student. I kind of like that. Like that. She's showing y'all up, and y'all are grown ass men.
Man, she had
Trojans.
the Dragon Ball Z reader on. She had the Dragon Ball Z reader.
These are their
Eating. I'm
You're
like,
in
what?
impeccable condition. I'm like, get out of here, bro. What?
Look at him out there sharing, like, okay, yeah, you need to work on this, this, and this. Like, how in the world you figure that out?
Come on, dog.
How do you know what I ate this morning from looking at my shirt?
Right.
Besides
That
that,
was cool,
I think my favorite character, they didn't have like a big part, but I just loved them because they were kind of an asshole. It's the center from the Generation of Miracles. I can't figure out what his name is, but the guy with the big dude with the purple hair.
Oh yeah,
the one that never practiced, but if he did practice, he
was a savage. Yeah,
no, you're talking about
literally
Daiki. Nah, the one who didn't practice was Daiki. I think you're talking about Seijiro. Seijiro, right? Seijiro was the really tall one with the purple hair from the
he was my favorite one just because he gave me, out of all the miracles, a villainous vibe to him. Like I like that. And that moment of when they were finally losing and he had to tap into the zone and start taking it serious finally, like, all right, let me put my hair in the ponytail. I gotta get serious in y'all because y'all starting to piss me off out here. Like that had to be probably
Atsushi.
one of my favorite moments. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, but definitely had to be one of my favorite moments. So now, let me ask y'all a little question just to have a little fun with this. All right. Let's say you had the skills to be on the basketball team and go to one of the schools in this show. You cannot pick Saren.
Oh.
So, can't pick Saren. So what school would you go to and why?
Oh no, I have to pick.
So I know I gotta find the name of the school, but I know
exactly.
I'm looking at the names right now.
Put like this. My man with the jumper. That's where I would go.
I'm going to Rakuzuzan High, the one with the captain from the Generation of Miracles.
Okay,
I'm going there because he brings out my potential.
Are you trying to cheat? Yeah. True. He brings out your potential, but go ahead and mess up your shot. He gonna bench you. He gonna bench you in a heartbeat, and you'll be off the team by the time the next day comes around. But I would definitely go with. I can't find the team, but my man with the glasses who does the 3-pointers from everywhere on the court. I would definitely.
Midorima.
Yeah, I definitely would go with there.
I think that's.
I think that's
Toto or something.
I thought that was Kiridashi Daiichi High.
Is that? Oh wait, no, I'm looking at the wrong.
No, the one who's the 3-point shooter is Midorima. He's the green hair one. He's the one who checked it up. Yeah, no, all the way right.
Yeah,
he's the one who checked it up and shot from under his.
The one who always carries around a random item.
Yeah.
Yes.
Check it in bounds.
The lucky item.
Yes.
They check it in bounds to this man.
I would definitely go there.
Under his net.
I feel like just the style of basketball, when I did go outside and play basketball, would fit most well within that team. Like, you could take the threes, let me focus on defense, shoot a J here and there. I think overall we could take the championship.
Right.
That's who I would like.
Okay.
What about you, Noah?
I think I would agree with that just because, or either that or Kisei's, because Kisei was the first one. He was the blonde hair Generation of Miracle one.
My man in the blue,
he was like the coolest one out of all of them because he was immediately cool. All the rest of them were just assholes off jump, like,
and he became
no
extra
reasoning to be assholes.
Oh
like,
yeah,
he was the only one who was cool.
In the future, he's gonna be unstoppable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's also the one that had the most growth, honestly, out of
he did.
all the generation.
He did.
Yeah. So he seems like the coolest, so I'd probably go there. The other ones, I'm like, man, those Japanese attitudes.
I want to deal with you.
Yeah, exactly. That little let this guy be an asshole because he just is thing that goes on in Japan don't fly in America, so I can't deal with that. You know what I mean?
All right, Gabby, where would you go?
I would go to Kisei School. I think it's Kajo. I don't know. It's from Kanagawa. I know that. I would go to Kisei School. Again, I don't know much about basketball, but I liked their team makeup. I liked the way we saw that team progress and how Kisei's character evolved. So I think it would be just a great team to be a part of. honestly.
I agree.
Not mad at any of those choices. All right, so let's move on to the next show on the docket. Marcus, you'll like this one.
No.
Let's talk about Free.
It's such a good anime, bro.
Let's
It's
talk
such a good
about
anime.
let's talk about your favorite show, Free, Marcus.
No.
I love Free.
Little Yaoi, but it's
No.
a very good anime.
So,
No.
because Marcus has been waiting 4 months to get this off of his chest, I'm going to let you go first. So,
All right.
Marcus,
What is it?
what did you think about the anime Free?
Okay, besides the visuals, I'll give it this. The visuals and the overall story is good, but goddamn, if it like the yowiness, like I had
It's
to
very yaoi.
like
Oh
It's
yeah,
like-
it's made for my kind of people.
I was
It's made for my kind of
like,
people.
I'm
Facts.
like okay. So
I like Haikyuu. So
watching literally all the other sports anime and all the other sports anime that I had watched outside of this, I was just like, okay, this genre, like, here's the thing, I love swimming, like as an Olympic sport, I love to watch it, like I love it, but it was just like I could not get into the zone, so to speak.
I see what you did. Little Kuroko basketball pun there.
Like I couldn't like fully get into it, and I'm just like, okay. And for me, I like where a main character isn't, like I was already the best since like elementary school, and then I stopped, and then okay, now we're back in middle school. Oh, I'm still good. I beat you, ha ha ha. And I'm just like, I can't. It's hard for me to turn my brain off, and it's just like what is with all this yaoi-ness? Like I thought we were here to swim. Like what is this? Give me more.
That's
Like-
fan service.
No. That's not even a fan service. That's just like you never see them hit the gym or any of that. Just like, oh, we're just
Yeah,
gonna
they take jogs. They take jogs like every
Marcus, you
other-
want to see them go to the gym, Marcus?
Yeah, he do. I don't know what I'm saying. Maybe he's in the zone already.
swim in the gym, bro.
Are you upset because they cut the gym scene? They left it on the floor. And they put
Sports
that in?
isn't, I mean, swimming's not much of a lifting sport.
nah.
But like,
We do lifting in it, but
it's
it
not
really
like
just
power
depends
lifting.
on the team.
Yeah.
But it's just like you still got to be in some, like they still lift some type of weights, or like they do aerobic weights. Like there's ways to implement better fitness, and like I did not see that. It's just like, oh, all we do is swim. Like, oh, we go to the ocean, we're just going to swim to this island, then this island, then this island, and then come back. It's just like, oh, but we're not going to make it back to the land, so we're just going to rest here for a night on the island. Oh, and a storm is coming. Oh, let me go swim out into the storm. Stupid. What are you
The
doing?
storm wasn't there when he swam out.
Yeah.
It's definitely not a strictly sport like competition show. There's definitely a lot of quote unquote filler, random, silly
Jokes.
moment skits. There's
Jokes.
definitely that. So it's not. I think it's different than all the other four we watched in that it's got a lot of that stuff in it.
Mhm.
Jokes. Listen, even in Kuroko, they went to the gym. You can't fight me on this. Like,
All right,
there
let me
has to
So
be
on that.
in
Let
the
me-
Yao
let me-
anime,
oh, go ahead.
you're mad at the gym scene not being there. That's
Right.
It's not about only the gym scene. It's the fact that I want quality storytelling.
I can
And, like,
understand that.
You can't
Yeah.
omit certain things in sports and just be like, oh, well, we're just going to not do this and then we're just going to get by with this. And I'm just like, no. Like, this isn't for me. Like, I won't watch it again. Like, you cannot pay me to watch Free again. No matter, like, if I have to binge watch all of it, like, I'm not doing it again. No. Trash.
okay.
Go
So,
away.
Gabby, what are your thoughts on how do you feel about the show? Since we've heard Marcus and his many
I
thoughts.
loved
done.
Free. I've seen it. I've seen this one before. I hadn't seen the last season because I didn't even know it was out, honestly.
Mhm.
And I love Free. I've swam since I was 9, and I swam all throughout college and competitively and year round, all that stuff. So I relate to all these characters in pretty much the same way because I did the sport. It's very accurate with how they swim and techniques they would use. and so even sometimes for around the time that the anime was being made are accurate for how a men would compete in 25 meters or 50 meters.
Mm-hmm.
So they did a lot of things really right, and I enjoyed that. Yeah, it's definitely more on the yaoi side. It's great for shippers a lot, but I like that. I almost like that. That's kind of obvious. Like you can kind of tell it's made for it, but it's also I like the animation style. It's very colorful. It's very bright. It's a show I would watch again and again because I like it, and I like that there is a anime about a sport that I did and that I love. So
okay,
I enjoy it.
All right, what about you, Rocky?
I think that anime was good. I think animes that are like good for like 12 episode, 13 episodes. How many was it? 12 episodes, something like that.
Like 12 episodes a season, something like that.
Yeah, and it was so good. I think it's actually the 4th highest selling anime of all time for sports. And I don't think that comes from the yowiness. Like it just comes from like that was a really smooth anime. Like overall description of that anime is smooth. Intro is good, voice acting good, story good. If we're talking about my criterias, quick plot good. A lot of times when anime drag on past, you know what I mean, what they are, then the story kind of shifts. So sometimes having a good idea for a short little 12 episode, you know what I mean, blast of some good anime is fine to me. But also to comment on, you know what I mean, the part about the gym thing, I also swam, Gabby, and you know this as a swimmer. Swimmers do not spend a lot of time in the gym. They do not. No. They spend 99.9% of their time in the water. Like that thing where they went out to the ocean, swam from island to island. I was like, that's actually a crazy little work camp. Yeah. Because like that would be cool because that's what swimmers would do. They literally all about stamina and just water time. Like they really don't go to the gym that often. The most they would do is jog unless they're like an Olympic level and they're like coming back into like swimming from not having done it. So it kind of makes sense to me. They created their own swim team. So, but as far as like everything else, the yaoi is here or there, whatever, that's fan service. But like the anime overall, I give it like an 8 out of a 10, 7.5 out of a 10 for, you know what I mean, just a short blast, 12 episode, really enjoyable anime. I probably won't watch it again, but I would definitely suggest it to somebody else. 100%.
Okay. And just to mention something, just speaking to its popularity, I know you mentioned, Rocky, that you said it was like number 4 highest selling, you know,
top 5. I don't know which one. Yeah.
Right. But also the characters have a deal with a popular swim brand out there. They're like ambassadors for like a popular swim brand in Japan. Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
Okay. But for a 2013 anime, that animation is crazy. I was like, how did I not know about this? That animation, if it came out today, I wouldn't be mad.
The animation was crisp, like out of like it's the crispest out of.
It could have came out today.
Like the animation is very nice.
Yeah.
Very, very fluid, very, very crisp, very high definition. Also, jokes I've seen. I know that anime that you're recommending. I'm not watching that because I know exactly what it is. So you can watch that yourself.
Also, the soundtrack was good. So all my criteria is met to make it a great anime. I love swimming too. So I was a swimmer, so I could relate to it really well. But it wasn't I'm not a crazy sports anime fan. So I give it an 8.5, an 8 out of 10, 7.5, something like that.
As far as where I stand on Free, here's my thing with Free. First, I agree. Animation is top notch on this thing all the way through. My thing with Free is with these sports animes or whatever, like the time in the water is so short. It's like 30 seconds, maybe a race is done, and then they're back out the water, and then all that hype and build up to the match, you're waiting until the next one comes around. They spend so much little time in the actual competition part that the drama outside has to kind of match that energy. And for me, it just didn't. Like the yowiness of it, whatever, I don't care, whatever. Like once I get into it, like, oh, okay, you're one of those shows. All right, whatever, cool. I'm gonna watch it. It's supposed to be popular. But the story just wasn't holding me early in the series. Like the whole, like, oh, I don't want to swim anymore because I lost you in grade school. Dude, for real, get over it. You're in high school.
Yeah, that was a little lame.
Like, come on now. Like the whole first season is about that. It's like that stuff. Once they got past their issues, like after the first and second season, I like the third season a lot more once we got past all that childish childhood kind of stuff, even though it does come back to rear its head again with another character in the third season. I don't think this is a bad show by any means whatsoever. I don't think that the show is for me. I'll put it like that. Just because just because the story and the drama wasn't for those reasons I just said, like I consider a lot of that stuff just childish that you're still beefing with and building all this tension and man feelings about and crying and everything. Like, dude, like really it's not that not that necessary. You know what I mean? But I would recommend it to somebody who's into that type of stuff. Yeah. But I do agree. Like once it's all said and done, because I do want to know how it ends. I've watched 3 seasons of it. Why not at this point? But yeah, once it's all said and done, I personally probably wouldn't watch it again. Right.
I can't. Can I say a little something towards like that attitude and stuff? So I actually have been trying to learn Japanese. Not specifically for anime, but so that being said, I've been studying a little bit of Japanese culture, and the anime is starting to make a little bit more sense towards like the way that their attitudes are, and it's just like apparently, you know what I mean? It's just not like it's a little back. It's a little bit of I don't want to say held back style of like attitude, but like it's a little bit of like repressed opinions and like don't really go out of your way to like do anything that's going to get in anybody else's way sort of thing. And I think that's what they're showing, because like us, we look at it as like Americans are very forward and outgoing and say everything that's on their mind and don't stop for anything. As to where over there, from what I read and what I study, you know what I mean, you don't really throw around opinions and things like that to kind of keep like this tranquil sense of vibe that's over there, which is amazing. But that's just how their culture is. So I think that speaks to that a little bit. And when you see, like, for instance, anime where guys really won't go out of their way to do like the thing that maybe we would. And it just makes a little bit of sense in that sense.
No, I completely agree with you.
Which I agree with you. I'm not a big fan. I thought it was a little lame, but it just kind of makes a little sense.
No, it makes sense. Like when I went out to Japan in 2016.
Oh yeah, you went.
Yeah, for 2 weeks. That's something that just studying and everything, getting ready to go out there, like it's something you see prominently and you learn. Like that's just the culture.
I bet that made anime make so much sense to you, because the more I study Japanese culture, I'm like, so this is why all these men are afraid of women.
This is why there's terror.
So many things in anime make more sense now, like just from being out there. Like the most trippiest thing when I was out there was sitting watching Assassination's Classroom. And I don't know if anybody here has seen it. But all right, remember they went on the field trip to Kyoto?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And they were looking at like temples and all that kind of stuff. I'm in Kyoto watching those episodes, and I had just left that temple.
Oh, that's fire.
I was like, oh, like these are like
right.
Yeah, like just all those places you see out there, like being able to go out there and actually visit them and all that kind of stuff, like it's cool.
Right. The more once I saw that, it really made anime like I even saw an article that's like Japanese men aren't having enough sex, and I'm like, so no wonder. Yeah, I'm like, no wonder every man in anime runs away from the big boob girl.
Yes,
the
nose start bleeding and all that kind of stuff.
I'm like, this makes sense. I'm like, why don't you? You know what I mean? Go for it, guy. And then I see articles like that. I'm like, okay, so now anime is starting to make a little more sense.
Yeah, the extra horniness of them. Trust me, it's on full display when you're out there. Like it's a very real thing. So let's talk about some of our favorite moments from Free. I know you probably don't have any, Marcus, because you're not a fan of the show. But does anybody have any standout moments or characters? I'll go first on this one. For me, I think my favorite moment is probably one with Makoto, and it's in his character growth. Like I loved seeing him have that time to go teach the kids at the center how to swim and all that kind of stuff, and having that bond with them and coming to the realization that, you know, this is what I want to do. Yeah. That made him my favorite character in the show, hands down. Like just seeing his growth with it. Out of everything in it, besides the beautiful animation from when they're swimming, just regularly walking down the street, just beautiful. That was probably my biggest moment for me in the show. What about y'all?
I have two. One is at the end of season 1, where kind of Rin reconciles with Haru and a lot of other people and gets back into how he wants to swim and into the relay team, even though the Iwatobi team gets disqualified. But Rin connects with them and also with his own team to be able to swim the way he wants to again. And then I can't remember. I think it's later at the end of season 2 or something. But when Haru goes to Australia with Rin and kind of realizes when he's in the whole thing of like, I don't have a dream. I don't know what's going on. And he kind of looks at himself and Rin helps him discover that, oh, I do have a dream. And it kind of like, it grows to Haru's character because he's very one of those characters like, I don't have a personality unless I'm in the water. When he's in the water, he has a personality. Out of the water, he's just like...
Robot.
Yeah, robot, nothing. It's crazy. But those are probably my 2 favorite moments.
I can get behind those. Yeah, those are really good ones. What about you, Rocky?
I think my favorite moment was honestly the first fight, first swim on the first episode. Like that set up everything just because that one probably had the best animation. I'm pretty sure they really showed out in the animation room for that one to bring you in. And I really didn't even know this anime existed. And to find out like it was really like this much and stuff like that. And I used to swim so much. Yeah, like I said, it wasn't my favorite, but I could relate to it so much. So the first one of Rin and Haru racing was pretty sick. Like them entering the water and the animation. I was like, yeah, I'm like this. Honestly, I wish it had a second season. I'm not mad that it only has 12 episodes, but
no, Free is like 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
My God.
Yeah, it's 3 seasons.
I've only seen the first one.
That's why I said. That's why I said it took me a while to power through. Like I could power through 12 episodes. No problem.
Are they not on Crunchyroll?
They should be. They should all be on.
Okay, that's what I was saying for a 12 episode. But yeah, then I'm gonna go back and watch the rest because just the first race really got me. I even stopped and told my friend who hasn't seen it, I was like, yo, you gotta check out Free, dude. Like the animation is really well directed and well put together, really smooth.
Mm-hmm.
I have one moment.
All right, what is it?
Oh.
One moment. It's when Haru was all like, I only freestyle. Like, and then he was like, then that shifts and was like, I want to do the team. Like, it's all about the team. And he no longer is like, I'm only about freestyle. No, I want to swim with you guys. Like, that's what I want to do. I want to swim with you guys more. That was the family moment.
Oh, when the captain said that?
Well, the captain said it, but he also said it. It was like, I think it's the beginning of that tournament arc, that tournament.
If it's past season 1, I ain't see it.
Yeah, it's past season 1.
It's past season 1.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a season.
I'm kind of mad now.
It's a season 2 moment.
Yeah, yeah. So that's like the only moment for me. It's just like, all right, character growth. No longer sticking to one thing. And it's just like understanding that you're not alone. It's all about the team and not just yourself. So
yeah.
All right. Well, since you can't answer this question, Rocky, since you haven't seen it, I'm gonna ask you to. I don't know if you all know, but it's gonna have 2 movies coming out soon to close it up. To close it all out. They're not. Yeah, they're not doing another season, Marcus. They're closing out with 2 theatrical movies, which is also big, getting 2 theatrical movies. So how do you think it's all going to come to an end?
I think it's one of the ones I also need to read the manga on, but I'm excited to see where it's going to end. I don't think it needed a 4th season. I think it'd be fine if it did have one, but I'm totally fine with having the 2 theatrical movies. I think it'll go on great. Everyone's kind of near the end, kind of discovering goals. We're at that point, so... Or they could just do a time skip too. I really don't know what they're gonna do.
True.
I
think that I agree. I think the 2 movies are perfect, and I don't think we need a whole long, drawn out, emotionally charged season to end it all. But I think it would hurt. I think the series in the long run if Rin and Haru don't get to swim against each other on the big stage.
Oh yeah.
Like it has to end with them 2 on the big stage in front of the world, once and for all. Who is the best? Like, and I mean, when that swim goes down, man, if you don't put your whole budget into that race right there,
it's going to be a draw.
You think?
And it's gonna be the perfect cliffhanger. It's like they're gonna be swimming.
Oh! They get to the end, and right before the screen just goes black and the credits come on, and
Exactly.
you don't know who wins.
And then they do the whole typical shonen fashion. It's just time skipping. And it's like,
Years
oh,
later.
blah, 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 blah. And then it's all like they're all gonna like meet up, and then it's like those are some fun times and everything. Blah 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 blah. And then it's gonna be like that's gonna be the second movie. First movie is gonna be probably a little bit different, but I guarantee that's probably the second movie.
I could totally see it ending like that. Oh, now I want to see it end like that. Now I do.
Well, we do know it's one singular movie. They're just splitting it up into two parts.
Yes.
So they'll be connected in some way.
Yeah, but I'm actually since I came this far, I'm looking forward just to see how it all ends. I do want to see if they get on mainly to see if they get on the stage. If they work this hard, do they get there and finally get to race each other and know who is truly the best between them?
You tell me they didn't race each other in 3 seasons?
It doesn't really count for them. It's like it does, but it doesn't, because no, we want to be on the big stage and do it in front of everybody on the global stage.
Practice matches don't count.
They're weird about it.
Yeah,
training matches don't count.
Right.
True. Now, what are you about to say, Marcus?
Oh, so since we're talking about movie, you brought up the whole fact that it's giving 2 movies. Did anyone watch the Kuroko movie?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't watch any of the movies this time around. I have to find the Kuroko movie after you told me about it. I got to find it to watch it. But I didn't have time to watch the movies. I just had enough time to keep it strictly to the series.
I actually watched the Kuroko movie and thought it was an episode.
Yes, I believe that the movie is on Netflix, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. If not Netflix, then it's definitely on Crunchyroll. But I just want to say they did the people of melanin dirty and made us very ignorant and aggressive for no reason.
Yeah, bro. Them deep ass voices, bro.
I need to go find it. I need to track that down so I can see it,
bro. Yeah, they're doing much better with us nowadays, but we already know after Mr. Popo and stuff like that, it's just
God, that was just bad. that was just bad.
I remember the first time my uncle saw me watching Dragon Ball Z, he's like, "What in the hell are you watching?" I'm like, "I'm thinking it's cool."
They had to get real on you.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to our 4th anime that we're about to discuss, which is Yowamushi's Pedal. Yeah, some good old cycling. So let's just start I'll go first on this one. As far as how I felt about it, this was not my first time watching it. Seasons 1 and 2 I'd already seen, but season 3 and 4 I'd never seen before. This is my first time. Overall, I do really like the show. Like the whole mommy bike thing and him just being a kind of like a natural without even realizing it. Just, hey, I'm just going to get new figures and new mangas, and I'm riding this old bike up and down these massive hills into the city and back, miles upon miles every day, and just kind of just becoming a natural just through that. I liked it. I liked the character progression in it. I liked the story. I liked all the characters on the main squad. I liked other teams. I liked the quote unquote villains in it. I didn't think I was going to like it that much. But one thing I really enjoyed about it, like Rocky, I have a cousin, you have an uncle who's heavy into cycling, like did Tour de France, all that kind of stuff.
My dad raced against Lance Armstrong.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. And on my mother's side of the family, I have an uncle who's heavy into cycling too. So getting to look through a avenue that I love, which is anime, into that cycling world. And my biggest thing was, how is this a team sport? Like, we're on a bike. Like, how does that work? But seeing how it works and break it down, I really found all that really, really interesting. Probably one of the reasons that like really made me like get into it and love it. Overall, I liked it. I had some issues with the second two, seasons 3 and 4. Mainly, it was them rehashing events that made seasons 1 and 2 great and bringing them back up in a different way. And the second season's like, oh, we have to sing the Princess Hime song or whatever to pull everybody to the front from all the way back again. Like,
wait a minute, I'm safe.
Like, we just did that in the first 2 seasons. Why are we doing that again with 2 different characters? Again, like they kept repeating stuff like that. That was kind of annoying me. Like it was that, and the fact that they did the Inter High again. I wanted to see it do a different race, even though it was in a different location. I wanted them to see him do a different race. But overall, I really enjoyed it. What about you, Rob?
Cap.
Me?
Yes, you, sir. What about you?
Okay, so my criteria is always voice acting, fire. Yusuke remind me of Orochimaru in the first season, so he was probably my favorite character. Animation, fire.
Definitely one of
Yeah,
mine.
he did, right? Soundtrack, fire. And when I say soundtrack, y'all, I don't mean the intro. I mean the soundtrack
Right.
during the show, the score.
Right.
Yeah.
Intros and outros, fire. Voice acting, fire. I give it a 8.5 out of 10. It was very good.
Okay.
My favorite race was the second inner high. I also agree that I wish they didn't do it twice. I thought they were gonna go do the normal thing, which is like represent for Japan that usually sports animes do after the inner high. I also think that the main plot line was a little generic, which is usually like, but maybe this is when this generic plot line started, but like main character has nothing to do with sports, does something outside of sports that's like, you know what I mean, boosts his level in that sport for whatever reason, kind of like Haiku a little bit. But other than that, great. I would suggest it to anybody. His favorite race is definitely the second inner high though.
Okay. What about you, Gabby?
I fell in love with this show in the second episode. I really did. I looked up all the stuff, saw a picture. I'm like, oh, it's a cute art style. I like it. I'm like, okay, sitting here, watch the first episode. I watched the first 2 seasons, and I was like,
like I'm locked in.
Like you said, the soundtrack was fire. I also loved every single opening and ending because I'm big on rewatching those 2 things because like they'll come up on my playlist now for YouTube just constantly. And I love the character developments. I'm always iffy on characters with outrageous hair in normal settings, kind of like this, where it's so different. Like Maki's hair, I was like, but he's one of my favorite characters. Like I grew to adore him.
One of the things I did like about his hair, it wasn't just the color. They actually noted that like he dyed it that way.
Yeah.
I did
like that they did that. They're like, it's not natural. He died. I'm like, okay, that makes it a little.
This doesn't have a family of green-haired people.
Yeah.
it's not like Kuro where it's like, why do all the cool guys have random hair color? But
correct.
I fell in love with them instantly. They have a lot of familiar voice actors. One of the guys on Hakurane, I believe he's also Daichi's voice actor from Haikyuu. We have Natsu's voice actor from Fairy Tail on Seren's team, I believe. I need to look and double check, but there are so many familiar voices that from Japanese stuff from the sub side that I maybe fell in love with even more. So I would definitely say this is my favorite if we weren't including Haikyuu in this bunch.
All right, what about you, Marcus? Where do you stand?
I thoroughly enjoyed this series. Like I've heard of it, but until like I didn't actually watch it when it first aired. But after watching it, I was like, okay, it kind of gave me similar vibes to Hajime no Ippo, with the main character does his daily life routine, which turns out that set him up to have the experience needed to pursue the actual sport, unbeknownst to himself.
Yeah,
and that's what I really like with the whole they changed the gear off his bike so he wouldn't leave the house, but instead
his mother
since he loves manga and anime so much that he pedals all the way to Akihabara to go get his stuff, but he has to do twice the work for the same amount of distance. And then he was like, and then he goes and sings his little song, his little anime intro thing.
I love
as
that.
he's going. I was just like, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. When I'm in my car or I ride my bike and I have my headphones in or I have the stereo system on and I hear that one song.
You sing the princess song?
No, I don't sing the princess song.
No, I sing the princess song now.
Maybe on that Demon Slayer intro.
It's like, wait.
Listen to that Demon Slayer intro, like da 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 while you driving.
Nah, for me it's Golden Wind, so I just be like, we going in, JoJo, pose.
Yeah.
So that like
my hero
it's
when I'm
very
rushing
good.
someplace.
Like
Okay.
I would definitely recommend it. I definitely give it a solid 9.5 out of 10.
Okay.
If they ever decide to like redo it and give it updated visuals, I would watch it again.
All right. So
Straight
let's
up.
talk about some of our favorite characters and moments. It seems like most of us like Makishima.
Yeah.
Him and his rival Toto, I love them and their friendship and rivalry. Like how Toto calls him all the time, and he acts like he's annoyed with him calling him. Like, hey, did you eat today? Hey, did you gotta get your sleep? Come on, you gotta get your rest or whatever. Like, I love their relationship throughout the whole show. Definitely, probably my two favorite characters in the show. Now, one of those ridiculous. This show does have those ridiculous Kuroku moments in it.
Mm-hmm.
It does.
Like it does. Like one of those that are burnt into my head is when they're doing the Inner High in season 1. I believe it's season 1. And they're going on the sprint. So they send the two sprinters up, and Hakone says there, and it's this dude with his shirt zipped down. He's just pedaling with his arm down, just talking about his pecs the whole time.
Andy and Frank.
Yes.
That's so realistic too. There's always that dude that's just pedaling like this, arms hanging.
Like they're
He
sitting
made
there
me laugh
down.
most.
Oh my god! Like this, they're down there focused, and he's just pretty boy face, long eyelashes, just talking about Andy and Frank. Like, hold on for a second, dude. Like that whole thing was just—that's burned up. That was so funny, even though it was a dope race. Like they were getting it, but it just was so out there and so funny to me. Oh my gosh! What about y'all?
The first season was the best for me. The first season was so good. To be honest, I stopped at like I can't remember which race was at the end of the third season, but the first season just I really started to like that anime more and more. And I was like, I even told my dad, I was like, yo, you're gonna love this because he's the cyclist. But I think the first few episodes, I was like, there's no way I'm going to like a cycling anime. So I'll just power through it. You know what I mean? And then when Naruto came in, I think
Oh my God.
Yeah, the red
yeah,
sprinter or something.
Yeah, I was like, all right. I already started to like it because the animation, and I love the dig deeper aspect of sports anime. That's another thing about why sports anime are necessary. That whole like, you know what I'm saying, every extra inch aspect. Naruto is about that, and he's like, you know what I mean, he definitely was my favorite character. I don't know if I had an overall favorite race, but first season was definitely my favorite. I was kind of like watching the rest, kind of hoping it would be, in my opinion, as good as the first season, but I enjoyed it all. I still got to finish the fourth season, I think, and watch the movies.
You know, one thing I did love about the show, I liked seeing the torch get passed down from the third years to the second years, and like who their replacements, who they were like the people they chose for their replacements, and how they're still keeping the same core but adjusting it and adding their spin on like how Hakone or how everybody does their things now. I really did enjoy that because that duo that they have is kind of cool when they're working together.
Yeah, I enjoyed the mentorship moments of the show a lot.
Same. What about you, Marcus?
For me, it was in season 1. The moment that I thoroughly enjoyed, I believe, was the first club like introduction race, where it's like everyone
the welcome race.
The welcome race, where everyone is like learning like their strengths and their weaknesses, and when Oda first like falls off like his mommy bike and was just like, oh, I gotta get back on my bike, like I gotta finish the race, and then it's like, but his bike is messed up, and they was like, here is your actual bike, and he gets on the bike and just starts pedaling. He was like, oh, so this is what a bike is, okay? And then he's like, switch gears. All right, let's go. Gear 2, okay. Going up a hill. Gear 3, okay. And then he was like, all right, this is the secret to catch up to homie. You do this. Oh, we going dancing now. Okay. Pedal to the metal, literally. And then it was just like, he doesn't like win, but it's like he puts in all that effort, and it just shows like his determination that he actually starts to enjoy cycling outside of just recreational use. So that was that defining moment for me, is that character understanding that I really enjoy doing this. Like, and then he starts understanding that now he's starting to make friends where he didn't have friends that was like in his like niche. Now he has friends in a niche that he didn't know he was in, and he gained everyone's respect coming from the fact that he literally started off on like a joke bicycle and is now like, oh, this guy is actually untapped potential, a diamond in the rough. Like he has the future potential to be like the anchor of the team. So
yeah. I think one of my favorite moments I just thought about was in season 4. It's probably actually my favorite moment. It's when, Makishima, he leaves to go to school or whatever, and owners trying to reach out to him. He can't get through him. He's not returning his calls. He comes back trying to watch the inner high from a distance. You know what I mean? But seeing him and his rival Toto have that mountain race all night, and Owner kind of just sitting there just watching it, this ain't for me. This ain't my time. This is for them. They got to have this type of deal. And they just race throughout the night and kind of share that love and that camaraderie through just, hey, let's just put it out there on the pavement. Let's just race and just, share our love like that. I really, really enjoyed that moment a whole lot in the show. So now let's talk about season 5 predictions. What do you think season 5 predictions? What do y'all predict is going to happen in season 5? And do they win? Because right now they're down pretty bad.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah, they're not doing too well right now. They've lost both days so far. So we're coming to the 3rd day. It's make it or break it.
I didn't watch the 4th season, but I read about it. But from what it looks like they're setting them up for their, their grand finale race. So I presume that's going to happen. And then it'll probably be whoever, I can't remember his name, will probably be it'll be like 1 or 2 characters that are looking to become pro, at towards the end of the show. And I think everyone else will kind of have the happily ever after aspect.
Yeah. I really want to say I definitely think they're going to win. But I've watched a few other sports animes, and that's not always the case. To put character development forward for a lot of the go pro and then go to a different career choice.
Yeah.
So I really can't say I want them to win, because you always want your team to win.
Yes.
But I wouldn't be, I'd be upset if they didn't. Yeah. So
yeah.
I think I want them to win. But if they don't win, there better be some good development, some good time skip moments afterwards showing me, oh, maybe they won next year when they were 3rd years or something like that. I need something else there if you're just going to make them lose or give me some catastrophic ending.
Yeah.
I'm with you 100% on that, Gabby. I really want to see Sohoku win. I really do. But I would not be surprised if they don't for whatever reason. I think Akira's still going to be an annoying-ass threat going into it because he is one of the most creepiest dudes ever.
I'm sorry. Every time he touches himself or does, he's like,
yeah.
And I'm like, what? No, this is what?
He is so disturbing. Like,
yes.
But he is killing it out there. And he may use some shady little tactics, but I got to give it to him. He's
a win is a win is a win.
He has the skill. You can't say no to that.
Yeah. I mean, he makes for a great quote unquote villain in the show. But I agree with everything you say, Gabby. I do want to see them win. I'm pulling for them. If they don't, yes, I want to see some character development. And one thing I really enjoyed in the 4th season, probably a little bit in the 3rd too, was when you start seeing the 3rd years graduate and go to their colleges, seeing the former captain of Sohoku end up with the wolf from Hakane on the same team in college, that made me sit up and pay attention. Like, okay, seeing these guys go to different schools and seeing different pairings that can come out of that, there could potentially be something there that I'll be interested in seeing a race between. So I would like to see that explored a little more in the next season. What about you, Marcus?
I agree with what everyone is saying. It's either, for me, like I want them to win, but if they lose, then we get character development and then a guaranteed win. But if they win, then it's kind of like, okay, they win, time skip with character development, and either they're off going being a pro or they're doing something else, and then probably like have some sort of like reunion type thing, or randomly they meet each other up again. So I really do hope that they win, but probably not.
I agree. I think that if they do it right, it's okay if they lose, but it's hard to do it right. But their storytelling is pretty good in that show, so
they have the potential to do it right.
Yeah. So we seem to be on the same page in that. Fingers crossed they win, but if they don't, give us some beautiful character development, and we'll be all thumbs up with it.
Yeah, because I doubt they'll do another season after that unless it's like really highly like making money. Then they'll probably end with the movie.
Yeah, I can't see them doing anything else afterwards.
Yeah, I think this last season will be it.
Bathroom break real quick. I'll be right back.
All right, go ahead. And while he does that, we'll go ahead, keep it moving, and get into the last show that we're going to discuss, Gabby's personal favorite.
Yes,
which is Haikyuu.
We're just gonna bring both of these guys out right here. Gonna bring them here and just keep them here.
That's right. Come on, you got to put them on display for everybody to see.
I'm just gonna hold Bokuto and Akashi right here. Two favorite characters.
All right, so since this is, you know what? I'll hold on for you, Gabby. Marcus, Haikyuu, where do you stand?
I give it a solid 9.5 out of 10.
Okay.
Animation's good, music's good, storytelling is amazing. Pacing, it has some pacing issues sometimes, in my opinion, but overall, it's really good. I would definitely recommend it to someone that has never seen it before. If you weren't interested in watching anything volleyball, whether it's at the current Olympics or just the sport in general, Haikyuu will make you want to go watch volleyball. And no matter if it's men's, women's, co-ed, whatever, it will make you want to watch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So, Gabby, let's talk about one of your favorite shows.
Where do I start? I had seen this show for like a few months before I ever started watching it, and a bunch of my friends and online people were like just raving about it. And sometimes when a show is so overhyped, I'm like, oh, I don't know. And so I eventually broke down. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll give it a chance. I kind of want to talk to everyone about it. And I watched the first season, and I saw all the characters. I saw like the animation, every single piece of music in this show I adored. And I liked the way the characters clicked together. I like the different ways they explained how each position worked. I knew some things about volleyball, but not all the details. And I liked the whole aspect of the camaraderie that has happened, and how some things were surprising if they were so simple, like between the relationship between Kageyama and Sugawara. I really liked their relationship, especially when they would get on the court together and do the two-sitter combo switch, and like just neat little things like that kept me coming back. And every time I rewatched it, I kind of learned something new that maybe I missed over a bit. So it kept me interested, and I'm a shipper. I'm a Yaoi fan. I found my way into that show also. So,
but here's the thing, I didn't find it to be Yaoi. Like,
that's the thing. It's really not. The show isn't, but because I'm just a shipper of characters in general, where I like to make stories with characters. I write fan fiction also, just because I like to create characters and put them in a show. I've kind of it's expanded into that, and I kind of create my own thing in my head. Okay. So that's where I've pulled into it. But that's just my own personal thing, not the show itself.
No, that's not where Thigh Jail came from.
Oh my Lord.
Everyone is in Thigh Jail anyway, first of all. You want to be in Thigh Jail.
I live in Thigh Jail.
See?
All right, so look, as far as where I stand on it, I love it. I'm not gonna lie. I think it might. I think it's taking the crown as being the #1 sports anime overall. Like, they do it all kind of like on point. Characters, development, pacing, animation. I think the matches keep you on the edge of your seat, whether they're winning or losing. It keeps you glued to it. You don't want to turn away from it. I was pulled in. I love I like the camaraderie, not just with the main school, but just in general, like those training arcs where they would go and train with other people, and a lot of people trying to be helpful and show like, nah, when you're blocked, try doing this or whatever. Like, why you teach me? Nah, because no, we're supposed to be this. We're all trying to grow here. You know what I mean? Like, we don't want to go out there and blow nobody out. We want to have like a good match and all that. Like, I really love that. I love that a lot about the show.
There's not one school or team that you really hate or dislike.
Yeah.
Honestly. There really isn't, because you get to learn about all of them.
True sportsmanship.
Mm-hmm. And as far as the shonen-ness of it, or like Dragon Ball-ness of it, it's pretty low. Like, I would say this is probably like more like realistic than any of the other ones that we probably talked about today. But I would highly recommend this to people. If you are a volleyball fan, or if you are not, you can dive into this and fall in love with it from beginning to end. Whether on the court or off the court, you're laughing, you're getting emotional, you're having a great time watching it all the way through. What about you, Rocky?
So this anime for me gets a perfect 10 out of 10. It meets all the criteria. Animation, first of all, you can always tell when animation is just next level, and I've been learning about animation a lot. The director of their animation does it really well. When you watch those big fight animes, for instance, and then notice the fights that stand out, you can see a million different fights in anime, but like, for instance, Naruto is like one of those ones where their movement and their animation always is super special, and it really has that like we're about to break down when the animation starts to level.
You can tell in Naruto
the movement, and both of Naruto and Haikyuu, you can tell once the movement starts that they didn't skip a beat on anything. There's no lazy animating, there's no stills. That part is amazing. Soundtrack and intros are fire. This show probably has the best character development I've ever seen out of any anime. Like, the fact that they can get you attached to an opponent in one episode, and you low-key want the opponent to do well, even though you want your team to win, is crazy to me. Like,
you don't want anyone to lose, but someone has to lose.
Exactly. My favorite moment was when Tsukishima, who I hated the whole first season, I was literally draft someone else.
I cannot stand
I was literally draft someone else. Everyone's out here working their hardest, and my man is just a hater, bro.
No, he was driving me crazy for the first first 2 seasons. Like, oh my gosh, somebody just put this dude in his place.
Right, and then the point when he had one of the most epic moments in the anime, but when he basically, one of the points when they came up and they're asking him to put in more effort, and he's like, my head's not made of muscle. I'm like, bro, what are you hating on them for? They're out here working and performing with less experience than you, man. Come on. But the moment when Bakuto told him, he's like, I just think there's nothing that can draw you in, man. He's like, with every sport, you have that one moment where you've been working really hard and it produces, and he's like, that's when you're hooked. And he's like, it doesn't matter what it is, and your moment with volleyball will come. When that moment came and that block happened, I swear to God, I almost teared up. I did tear up. That's so epic. Literally epic factor, crazy. I mean, I could go on about that anime forever. It literally is the best sports anime. Perfect anime, 10 out of 10. I have no complaints about the anime.
What about you, Marcus?
Man, when my man K did I got this. I was done. I was like, dude was like, you guys are like, he gives me that Shikamaru type of vibe. He's like, this is such a drag. I don't want to put in effort. Like, I'll do my job. Wait,
who, Kozume?
No, K.
Tsukishima, yeah. Tsukishima.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Salty.
Yeah.
And he's like, you guys are like not doing what I need you to. All right, screw it. All right, I'm putting in effort now. Okay, jump now. Turn. Okay, like we're winning. Like, I want to win. Like, since everyone wants to put in effort and everyone wants to win, I'll be a team player. And he comes in, bandages his hand because he like broke a finger or like dislocated a finger or whatever. I was just like, yes.
It came back right in nick of time. I was like, okay, let's go. Yeah. We got this. We can win. Like, I'm out there like a cheerleader on the couch. Like, all right, let's go.
And then after that, all like the little training moments with the other schools, and they're all trying to like perfect their, not even perfect, but just like increase their game presence, I would say. And when Kay's learning that how to like block effectively from I forgot who it was. He was like, you gotta. It's not about how you time your jump. It's about the way you jump, or something like that. And just all those little inter high moments where it's all about making each other better. Which I feel this anime really does bring home is that even though they're opponents, like on the court, when they're training together, it's all about making each other better because they want to face them at their best. So.
That was the one thing about that anime that I liked that was so realistic that I hate about some of the other anime, that it's like the respect factor in that anime that they all have for each other was so tight, because that's how it is in like high school sports. Like y'all are competitive, at the end of the day they all really respect each other. You're all homies. You all are hyped when you see each other do well, even if you're on the other team. And where that really strong beef starts in like college and professional sports, and it's not even that strong in there, it's mostly for media. So the fact that they showed that really strong respect for each other is really cool.
I think that comes from the era of writing that we're in now with manga. I feel like that sportsmanship aspect is now a staple and going forward versus like if you look at Ippo, where I'm saying there is some camaraderie, but for the most part, most of Ippo's opponents like look down on Ippo because they figure that he doesn't deserve to like really be in the ring until he actually like shows like, okay, like I may be a beginner, but what I have, like similar to like Naruto's, I have the will to power through to get back up, to basically come back from the dead, so to speak.
Yeah.
Continue to fight. So that's why Haikyuu is like very different but very similar in the same way, is that both allow their characters to grow and develop. They just do it in different ways. So.
Yeah, character development is 10 out of 10 in that anime. It really is.
Yeah. Tsukishima has some of my favorite moments for character development just because of how he is, from when not caring to Yamaguchi going and yelling at him. And Yamaguchi doesn't stand up to him.
Yeah.
Because they're best friends and they're the only two that really understand how each other works. So when Yamaguchi yells at him, he's like, oh, why are you so cool?
Right.
You know, I love Yamaguchi's character development as well. Like, because at first, when they announced, we got like 4 first years or whatever, but they're only focusing on 3. I'm like, why are they not focusing on like Yamaguchi? Like in the beginning, they made it seem like it was a deal that he was joining, but he's not doing anything.
Gucci has a big glow up, and we love it.
Yeah.
Oh no! When he has his moments and you see him like really evolve, okay, that put a little tear in my eye. I'm not gonna lie. One of the things that I love, at least in the first 2 seasons before it becomes more regular and people know about it, is whenever they hit that quick attack for the first time and the look on the other team's face.
Oh yeah.
When everybody said like, "Hold up, what in the world just happened? What was that?" And like for the first like 2 or 3, they get it off and just really just throw their rhythm off. I love that, and I think my favorite moment might be with Tanaka in the last match. That struggle that he was going through, how they kept picking on him with their serve.
Yeah.
And really getting to him. And that's not the type of person he is to get affected like that. He's always trying to cheer people up and motivate them and yell at him, but it was really like getting to his head. And to see him push through that and hit that spike on him, and his sister get emotional and everybody, he starts screaming again, getting turned up and cheering, and just the whole morale going back up. I loved it. Like, yeah. This show has some great matches that leaves you on the edge of your seat every single time. And speaking of that, here's my question, even though I know Gabby already knows the answer because she's read the manga, is where's this picture at that I got to show y'all? It is right here. All right, next season, we have Nekoma versus Kurosawa. Who wins?
Battle of the Garbage Dump.
The Battle of the Garbage Dump, yes, is going down next season.
They definitely win, in my opinion. The way that first of all, they already lost. Second of all, it's just, I don't know, the way that this anime, they kind of gave them all of the losses that they really should get. So now they're at the point to where they're really becoming a powerhouse, and it's to the point to where they really shouldn't lose anymore. And especially beating like the number one, you know what I mean, anticipated anticipated team to win.
Exactly.
I definitely see them winning in the future.
I agree. I see them winning. I think it's going to be an intense match. I think it's going to be a very close match, just because of the history, and you're going to have, the old coach is still coaching them, and their old coach will probably be in the stands watching it. You know what I'm saying? Just, all right, this is the battle of garbage dump. This is what we started. Let's see if these kids can bring it home. Like, it's going to be very emotional. It's going to be amazing. But I do think that we'll pull it out in the very end, if by just a sliver. I do think so.
Agree.
Yeah, I agree with you, Sin. I definitely think it's going to be close. I do see them winning, just as well as what Rocky said about those points about they now have all the tools to win and become an actual powerhouse. So I want them to win, but only Gabby knows if they actually do win.
Yes.
Not gonna say anything, but
Spoiler boys.
One thing I will say is I do love. Let's see. I love Karasuno. They're my team.
Okay.
But my 4 favorite characters are Bokuto and Akashi and Kuro and Kenma. Those are my top 4 favorite characters. I love Nikoma. I love Fukurodani.
Okay.
Watch Kenma in the next games. Kenma has a lot of character growth that I think everyone's going to love. And him and Hinata have always been going back and forth on everything. And Hinata drives him.
Yeah.
And I just think watching them play an official match for basically the first time, it's an amazing thing that, everyone's going to love. And I'm excited to watch it animated. Because reading it is the same effect, but seeing it in color is totally different.
Right.
Yeah.
I do want to see Kenma get emotional. He's so laid back, calm, kind of collected. I do want to see him, put your heart out there, like scream, yell, get excited. Like, I really would like to see that from him. Yeah.
I really hope they translate some of the scenes from the manga into the anime, because they're not. Some are a little violent. Because they do those depictions of this character looks like a knight or something. Okay. And kind of very video game related. So a few of the scenes and a few of the things that are said can be a little iffy, dark, violent in a way if you interpret it like that. But it makes it so captivating and enticing. I really hope they keep, which they have done in all things from the manga translation to the anime, so I think I don't have to worry about that. But I hope it translates well, because that's definitely what kept me into this match, is how they described it on both ends.
Okay.
With some of the visuals and the words. So I'm excited to see that part of this match.
I love an epic moments in Haikyuu in the animation when it's about to go down. What happens? They zoom in on the foot, taking the stance, like right as they're about to jump. Every time I see them zoom in on the foot, I'm like, let them go. Every time they zoom in on the foot. Also, I think something to note about the animation is this is one of the only animes that all the characters look Japanese. Like, they all look exactly like Japanese high school students for the first time ever. Karuko does pretty well, but like Shimizu,
this one does it the best.
Yeah,
this one does
Kageyama, Hinata, Shukishima, Bokuto, Sugawara, all of them look like high school Japanese kids, especially Kageyama. He's got the bowl cut. His parents got money. He's been playing volleyball since he popped out the womb. Yeah. Perfect, like, rich Japanese kid. Like, their artwork is just so good, bro. And their libero is labeled after, sorry to cut you off, labeled after the best libero in the world, who is the Japanese libero. What's his name? Nishinoya. Yeah, he's actually modeled after the Japanese libero for the Japanese volleyball team.
Oh, that's dope. Because I really mess with Cuz. That's dope. But I was gonna say, like, the whole point you made, like when they zoom in on the shoe and it's about to go down.
My favorite part.
Also, not only that, but when Hinata gets in that zone and he's got like that blank look, like, nah, throw it up.
I love the eyes.
Yes. Those eyes, where he has that face, you see those eyes, that's when you sit up like, okay, he about to do it. He about to do something. It's about to go down. Yeah. Those guys,
straight athletes mentality unlocked right there.
Oh, yeah.
I love that.
And that's so true for almost any sports. Like you get in the zone and you just have that expression on your face. Like nothing can face me. I am focusing on this moment.
Yeah,
right.
His teammates even see him, be like, okay, we know who's getting the ball next. Like,
yeah,
we know he's about
wanted to win it all, and they were like, this guy said he wants to win it all, and they looked at him in his eyes, and he's like, yes, I want to win it all. Yeah, he wants to win it all. Showed the eyes. I was like, yeah, my man said he's taking everything.
The eyes are a big part in this show, and it was surprising at first, but I'm like, they convey so much. It's insane.
It does. It really does. All right, so look, before we get out of here, just one quick little question to close this thing I want to ask y'all. We talked about Hajime no Ippo. We talked about Yomushi's Pedal, Kuroko's Basketball, Haikyuu, Free. What show did we not talk about today in the sports realm that you would just recommend to somebody before we get out of here?
Ace of Diamond. That's my shiz.
Okay.
Ace of Diamond, iShield 21.
Okay.
And when you asked me, I forgot that I watched Slam Dunk way back in the day because I liked the uniforms because they look like Bulls uniforms.
Yeah. It was modeled after Chicago Bulls. Yeah.
Yeah. Prince of Tennis is a classic.
Yeah, that's probably the one I would recommend to people.
I would definitely recommend Prince of Tennis. I also would recommend Major. It's a baseball anime also.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Yeah. That's really, really good. Really, really good. I need to finish it.
There's another baseball one. It's like Major, but it's like I think it's like
baseball animes. I know One Outs, Major, Ace of Diamonds. I can't think of off the top of my head any other baseball ones, but I'm sure it's something out there.
There's also a water polo anime that just came out, as well as a new volleyball anime.
Oh.
I haven't seen any of them, but I've heard of them.
And we got Blue Lock dropping next year, which is supposed to be pretty popular, a soccer anime.
Oh, I saw something on that.
Yo, London.
Yeah.
My hold on one sec.
And it's Sin. We're on the show.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Putting his government out there.
Right.
Now they know. Everyone cut your cameras.
Oh my gosh.
My goodness. You don't have a bio? Hold on one sec. Can look on your Facebook Messenger. Can you is it possible to put that on the stream?
Yes, it is actually.
That's my man. Everybody knows this. When you see this, you get goosebumps. Your spine tingles a little bit.
Give me a second to grab this image. Any other recommendations in the sports?
I would recommend Haikyuu. I would recommend Haikyuu straight up.
I said what we haven't seen yet.
Oh, okay. I mean, I was going to say that's the best.
Watch Haikyuu.
There's a badminton one. The rock climbing one is actually pretty good.
Oh, the one that came out last year with the girl.
Yeah. The actual rock climbing. I mean, for those that like rock climbing, it's pretty good.
3 episodes of it.
All right, and
Mamoru Suma is pretty good.
I guess in order to get ready to close this out, let me put this up here since Rocky wants to show this, and that is his eyes.
Yeah,
those intense eyes.
That's when you know it's going down.
That is 100% when you know when it's going down when he starts.
That's the no excuses.
Yeah.
That's when he's happy, he's excited. Oh shit! Like Usajima says, those two are monsters.
Yes. All right. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for sitting around discussing some sports animes with us. We truly, truly appreciate it. So Rocky, let everybody know where they can find you. I know you do your thing on Twitch, so let everybody know where they can check you out at.
Oh, if you check right here, you can catch me on Twitch and YouTube. Not with the TTV, just Rocky Balnoa.
Rocky Balnoa, that's right.
Yep, stream every day.
Marcus, outside of the anime chat, where can everybody find you at?
Oh, I'm pretty much everywhere. Here, Twitch and OP Corporation. I'm probably gonna stream the new DLC for Zombies probably after this, so I'll probably be on. So come check me out.
Yes, please stop by and do that. Drop it on the stream. Gabby, once again, outside the anime chat, where can everybody check you out at?
I don't know. I'm on Twitter a lot sharing anime things, so I'm there, but I'm mostly in anime chat.
See,
And putting people in thigh jail.
Yes, I'm putting people in thigh jail on Twitch. I don't have a channel. I just go around in all my friends' channels and put everyone in thigh jail. So that's the thing.
Yes, a place I will always be.
Hashtag Trini G for mod on loading snacks.
No,
put that out there.
No, you are not getting mod
Trini G
privileges.
for mod privileges.
You are not getting mod privileges.
On
you ever see a Flareon fluff in your Twitch chat? That's probably me.
That's right. Soon to be Flareon, the Thigh Warden.
I already changed my Discord name.
Yes, I did see that. Yes. Also, with us, Loading Snacks, you can find us across all socials. You know what I mean? Wednesday, we'll be back in our regular stream for weekly. Not Wednesday, Tuesday, most likely. If it changes, we'll let you know. And as soon as we figure out what the next topic of discussion will be with Anime Chat, we will let everybody know. I think it's going to start ramping up a little bit more, so that's going to be fun. So until then, ladies and gentlemen, thank all of you for sitting down and having this discussion today. And thank everybody out there for watching. So until then, catch y'all later.
All right.
Bye.